Hello and welcome to another canvascast. This time around we look at another very popular frequently asked question that comes to us here in the ELI department. As far as being able to tell when students have been in a course or just what general course activity has been going on in Canvas, both at an individual student level as well as holistically. So there's two tools that allow us to do that in Canvas world. One is the analytics tool, and the other is an access report. And we'll go through a brief demo of how to get into and what each of these widgets can do. All I've done here is just gone to a random course page, either from my dashboard or elsewhere, so getting into Canvas, regardless of which homepage configuration you have. On the right-hand side here, at the bottom of the little row of buttons, I'll have View Course Analytics. If I give that a single left click, then what it's going to build for me here is it's going to take all this data that it's collecting on the back end and build it into kind of a collective analytics snapshot of what's happening in my course as a whole. So the first part is just activity, just people getting in there. And there's two gradations to that. Participation means that the students are posting or submitting or replying or contributing some kind of content, whether that's submitting a file for assignments or whatnot. And then the light view is just page views only, just looking at something, not submitting something or doing something where they're contributing. Then the second part is just giving me an aggregate for my different assignments over how timely people were with this. Now, this is just my little sandbox here, but pretty grim looking picture, a lot of red. But I've got 3 assignments here, and everybody missed the due dates here. They're missing. But for my reflective essay here, there was one brave soul that was late with them, and other folks are missing that. So hopefully yours won't look like that, but it'll just show a breakout of that over time, generating a bar graph that for each assignment. Then as far as grades, it'll basically give you a median, wherever it draws a little whisker on the range of scores of where that is. And then what the 25th to 75th percentile is, and the total range of different kinds of grades that were provided there. And notice if I mouse over, I get a little breakout of those. Then below that, I get my class roster, and I can sort these columns by each header. So I can do page views, least to most, how many participations or posts, submissions, so on and so forth, and or what the current score is to kind of focus that, moving that around. So going to the home and course analytics gives me an overall aggregate snapshots of those few dimensions of the course, and then I can get a little breakout of that at the individual student level. So the other tool we'll look at to help us figure out what our crazy students are up to in our Canvas courses will be the individual student access report. And I can get to that via the people area. Just give that a single left click in any particular course I'm in. And of course, I'll get my class roster. But if I go over to the little dots menu here in the right-hand column, and I give that a single left click, I get a little ninja menu of all sorts of different things. And what we want to go to is user details. So I've just gone into people, click the dot menu and user details. Then that gives me a little bit of details about this individual student. And on this right-hand column of options, I want this access report. When I click on that, what it's going to give me is for just this specific student, it's basically going to give me, in this case, her, digital footprints of all the activity in this particular course site, how often things were looked at, how many times they were looked at, and a time and date stamp. And if they've submitted or contributed something, it'll fill in this times participated column if that's applicable as well. So I can print this or use this to verify or corroborate or otherwise figure out what individual students have been up to within a specific course site. So those are just two of a couple of the different ways that Canvas has. We can use those to be proactive and try and spot students that are getting into trouble, or to kind of see systemic issues, or just get details to check out a student story, or see what's going on with an individual student. If you should have a circumstance where you would need even more detailed information, you can get a hold of us here in the Eli department, and we have access to systemic logs across different course sites, and can get you a little more detail. But hopefully that's helpful to allow you to be able to use those and help student success and engagement in your courses.